A judge in Wyoming has ruled that the state's ban on abortion pills won't go into effect July 1st as previously planned due to an ongoing lawsuit. According to the judge, the state failed to show that allowing the ban to go into effect next month wouldn't interfere with the lawsuit before it plays out. The lawsuit, brought on by 2 nonprofits and 4 women, is challenging the ban. Wyoming is the first state to ban abortion pills. Today, President Biden will issue an executive order strengthening access to contraception and family planning services. It comes as tomorrow marks 1 year since the Supreme Court overturned the landmark Roe v. Wade ruling, sending the fight over abortion rights back to individual states. CBS News political correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns is at the Supreme Court with more on the fierce political fights. Caitlin, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Anne-Marie. Well, we're going to see a lot of political activity on this issue today. President Biden expected to rally with abortion rights activists here in Washington, while Republicans are coming into town, including Donald Trump, to participate in the Faith and Freedom Coalition conference also here in Washington. This is all a sign, of course, that a year later, this is an issue that continues to be near the top of the political agenda.
1 year on.
Today is the first step in America becoming a nation that values people's lives.
The fight over abortion access has moved from the steps of the Supreme Court to courtrooms and state houses across the country. Many Republican-led states have passed laws rolling back abortion access, including more than a dozen that now have bans on the books with limited exceptions. While some Democratic-led states have strengthened or codified the right to abortion.
It's a critical fight. It's about democracy. It's about freedom.
And it's proven to be a potent political issue. New CBS polling shows 45% of Democrats are more likely to vote in 2024 based on what's transpired since Roe was overturned, compared to 28% of Republicans. But a majority of Democrats say their party has not been doing enough to protect abortion access. This week, in an effort to highlight where candidates stand on abortion rights, Democrats are rolling out these billboards in Times Square and 5 other key cities. For Republicans, after years of rallying around overturning Roe,
unborn children have never had a stronger defender in the White House.
The issue has become a flashpoint in the race for the GOP nomination.
After leading the most pro-life administration in American history, Donald Trump and others in this race are retreating.
Candidates are navigating abortion limits.
If I were President of the United States, I would certainly have a 15-week limit.
We've enacted the heartbeat bill, the strongest pro-life bill in modern Florida history.
And the role of the federal government.
This isn't a states-only decision.
And it's back in the hands of the people of the states, which is where it should be.
We should allow the states to make their decisions, let them decide what to do.
And in the states, the CBS News poll finds 53% of women said being pregnant in the U.S. is becoming more dangerous. And 50% said abortion access in the U.S. after Roe has become more restricted than expected.
Women are needing more services and they're looking for places so that those services can be provided for them.
Sylvia Johnson runs a faith-based pregnancy help center in Houston, Texas, a state with one of the strictest abortion bans. She says the number of pregnant women looking for help has only grown.
For 38 years, our practice for the day that Roe versus Wade was overturned. So this is when the real work begins.
And Anne-Marie, we're going to continue to see rallying cries on both sides of this issue tomorrow on that anniversary of the Dobbs decision. Abortion rights supporters are expected to march right here to the Supreme Court, while anti-abortion activists are expected to gather at the Lincoln Memorial.
All right. So, as you mentioned in the beginning here, the overturning Roe v. Wade resulted in the issue going down to the states. So now states legislatures are responsible for figuring out how to handle abortion rights. Give us a sense of what's happened across the country. What sort of changes, what sort of issues, what sort of other legal complications have popped up as a result?
Yeah, Anne-Marie, exactly. Bess has been kicked to the states, and now we have a patchwork of laws across the country. So your access to abortion really depends on the state in which you live. About a dozen or so Republican-led states have passed measures to pretty much restrict abortion, some banning it altogether, while Democratic-led states have moved to codify Roe. We've also seen this in terms of constitutional amendments in places like Kansas and Michigan to preserve access, and that has demonstrated that this has really become a driving force in American politics. The big issue now to focus on is really in the state courts, because we've seen legislatures pass bills, the governors sign them into law, but they're being challenged oftentimes in the courts. We've covered this extensively, as you know, in places like South Carolina, where a court decision is still pending. Florida, DeSantis signed that 6-week ban, but that is also being challenged in the courts. And most recently in Iowa, a 6-week ban is being challenged in the state Supreme Court there as well. So that is really kind of the new front on this issue, is looking at how this is decided in the courts. And in some states, voters elect their Supreme Court justices. As we saw in Wisconsin earlier this year, that was a top issue in that race.
So the fight over abortion rights certainly motivated Democrats in 2022, but I wonder if that will be the same in 2024 for two reasons. You point out, depending on where you live, the overturning of Roe v. Wade would have a different impact. Maybe it had no impact at all. But also, one of the things we learned after the overturning of Roe v. Wade is that, the whoever's in sort of the Oval Office really can't make that much of a difference when it comes to this. So is this likely to motivate Democratic voters in 2024?
Yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic that you just lay out. I mean, in our polling, it showed about 43% of Democrats said that they are more likely to vote in 2024 because of what's transpired on this issue. But you also have a majority of Democrats saying that they don't feel like the administration and the party has done enough on this issue. And as you mentioned, the president is limited in what he can do. The prospects of anything getting done in Congress are severely limited, pretty much unlikely. So this is really a state-by-state battle. And I think the challenge that should be posed for Democrats as they're trying to use this as a rallying issue for voters is, what is the return on showing up to vote? And that's why you've seen some Democrats really focus on, hyper-local races like Supreme Court races, state court races, and others that really are going to be deciding on these issues. And of course, you also have the issue of contraception access. There's an executive order out today from the president expanding access, and also the abortion pill medication that's used, been used for 2 decades, also being decided by the court. So that's kind of the new front of this. Also, something to pay attention to is those constitutional amendments in the states. Ohio is having one likely this November.
Interesting. Caitlin, thank you very much.